Good evening, Madam Mayor and Council. This item had been presented at committee last week and had planned to be moved forward on consent agenda, but we had some changes in it, so I'm here tonight to go over the item and explain what the changes were. Just to give you a little bit of history, this is a contract for an Idaho Community Gem Grant from the Idaho Department of Commerce, and we applied for this funding back in September of this year and received an award of $50,000. And the funding will go to remodeling infrastructure at the old Daily News building, which is down on Jackson Street, which EMSI is moving into, and I think they may already be partially moved in at this point. And part of the GEM grant goals is to assist with things that create jobs. And so EMSI is growing quickly, and the infrastructure that was proposed to be placed in or be put in with this funding assists them in creating those jobs. Two of the things that we're looking at is their internet hookup or their fiber optic connection, and $21,000 of the total project cost will go to that, and then $104,000 will go to remove and replace the sidewalk system and then removal of the existing trees. And so the total project costs for just the construction, the infrastructure improvements, is $104,000. And then in addition to that, we have $2,500 for grant and administration, which is in kind, and then $7,500 is being put in by the building owner, which is 409, excuse me, I have to look at this again because I get it confused with the name of the LLC. 409 South Jackson is the name of the LLC, which owns the company, which is Mark Wentz. And so what we'll be doing is reimbursing the LLC for $50,000 of those total construction costs. And the part that was unique about this is that in addition to this, then the Moscow Urban Renewal Agency is coming in behind this grant, and it'll probably start taking place next year depending upon the completion of the building and the developer contract that they're working out with them. But then the Moscow URA will, over a 20-year period, I think it is, reimburse Wentz & Company or the 409 South Jackson LLC for that $75,000. The reason why I'm bringing this forth to you again this evening is that the contract, because it was a little bit confusing with how the URA is coming in afterwards, in order for the city to be able to close out our part of this project and not have to monitor it for those ongoing years, we needed to just show in the contract that the $75,000 was going to the Wentz & Company, or coming from the Wentz & Company, and not having the money showing from the URA, even though it's a big part of this project and it helped, support it, and it's a part of the economic development portion of this. The project probably still would have been approved, but I think it's still a key element. And so I can close this project out when I've done the reimbursements and documented the job creation. We're going to go ahead and leave that part out of the contract itself. And so the one that you saw originally at committee, and then there was an updated one that Jeff brought forth to committee last week, the one that you have in your packet tonight is the final one.
Promise is promise.
Yes, that we would like the mayor to have your permission to execute so that we can go ahead and move forward with the project.
Lisa, can you specify where on the document the changes were? So
it was just in the budget page on the last, I think it's page number 6 of your exhibit. And the previous one had the information regarding the URA on that budget page, and the one that was submitted in the committee packet actually on 12/9 showed that the Moscow URA was putting in $75,000, which wasn't accurate as far as this portion of the project goes. Then the one that was brought forth to you as an amended agenda item in committee on the 9th also still did show the $75,000 in the budget, but it didn't have a project total on it, and the total project costs were inaccurate. So today what you have before you is an accurate budget And also within Article 3 of the grant amount, the verbiage in that portion of the contract's been changed to match the budget.
Okay.
So it was just a matter of logistics and making sure that we have the accurate information so that I can monitor and close the project out properly.
Okay, thank you. Let's see, who was chairing that meeting?
I was,
that you?
and
Okay.
yes, and I did see the attendant emails adjusting and changing things, and I really appreciate, Lisa, you looking at this and getting all the ducks in a row and all the right numbers in the right columns with the right labels, because one of the things I learned as a history minor in college was that India was lost for a comma. India was lost to the British for a comma. And so I fully understand what the whole, everyone understood what the point of this grant was, but we don't want any glitches. And so therefore, if there aren't any, you were there at the URA meeting, do you have any other discussion?
I don't have any other things. to
Okay.
add.
If there isn't any other major discussion, I would move approval of acceptance of this grant and this contract.
Second.
Okay.
And do I have to have it?
I wanna
Okay.
make sure we got it all.
You do it, approve acceptance of the award and execute the contract for $50,000 from the Idaho Department of Commerce, Idaho GEM Grant for infrastructure improvements at 409 South Jackson.
Thank you.
And that acceptable to the
that's-
seconder.
that's what we're
Motion
seconding.
made and second. Any other discussion before voting? All right, hearing none. Dan, we'll start a roll call vote with you, please.
Aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, that motion carries. Thank you, Elisa.